Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Theresa Craftygrams, and I thought I would bring you along on a behind the scenes sort of look at my process for making this is going to be my prototype for another one of Monica Sikos's, I hope I'm saying her name right, I have no idea. Um, anyway, it's one of her scrapbook photo album folio pieces, and what I do for my prototypes is obviously just use scrap papers. Um, this one and the last one that I've already assembled are just, I'm using the white sides of printed scrapbook paper that's not to my taste. Um, and the last one that I did with the same paper pad, my daughter was flipping through it and she said that the pattern was distracting from actually seeing the vision, I guess, what the finished product would potentially look like. So what I've done so far is I have taken some, it's called masking paper. And what it is just this giant roll of, well, it's not giant. It's what painters would use in conjunction with masking tape, or now, painter's tape. Tape along the edges of this and put it along whatever parts they don't want to get paint drips on or whatever. So this one happens to be 12 inches long. And I have no idea how big it is, but it's quite a lot. And I think this was like $3 or $4 worth of. Normally, I would only buy the 10-inch, tall, long, wide, whatever. But for some reason, in this particular color, which is this olive green color, this size was cheaper than the shorter size by like $2. So I'm like, yes, I'll spend $3 versus $5. Thank you very much. Okay. So that's what I've done. Been spending the past little bit doing. I've covered it all, which shockingly, that thin paper covered this rather busy pattern. I may end up wrapping the whole thing in this just so it's consistent and I don't have to worry about which side of the page or paper or flip or whatever is visible when it's assembled, but that's later me's problem. So what I wanted to show you was how I approach doing these. As I said, Monica includes, usually it's a link to a Google Drive document that includes all of her materials, measurements, and the fold lines. And then she does them in order of left side, right side, and then middle. And her labeling system is pretty consistent. So she'll have, obviously, a set that's just, sorry, that was my glue page, that's just the letters of the alphabet. And then she'll have next set that's 1 and then A through whatever, and then 2 A through whatever, and then 3, in this case there's a 3 A and B. So that's how she does them. And then like at this stage I have obviously cut them and scored them and mitered the corners, but I have not actually folded them. So anyway, I'm going to put these in alphabetical order before I confuse everyone a little bit more. And there's also a note besides her, of course mine are in chicken scratch. She'll tell you how many of each piece to cut. Like cut one piece at thus and such measurements and crease or score on whatever. So that's C, D. Sorry, I do know my alphabet, but it's just, yeah, it's just, you know. Oh, that's got a 1 in front of it. Oh, boy. GH. Oh, have I crossed over? Let's see. Okay, so there's all of that, which looks like it's going to be the inside left pieces. All right, and then the right side are the pieces that start with 2. 2 A, B. And then these 2 are, when she indicates that there's, like these, the note says no score lines, so those are photo frames. That I think these may have instructions on cutting out the centers of them, but I'm not sure. That again, future me's problem. So that's right side, and then so this one is laid out a little bit different because G and H are the middle, and then the pieces labeled 1A, B, C, and D are also under left side heading. I don't know. Don't know. But anyway, I'm going to put them together, or, you know, pile them together in the order that I'm used to. The order that they're labeled, I suppose. And then as I go to assemble it, I'll figure it out. 3A and 3B are an interactive element that apparently goes to the left side as well. What's going on that left side? And so anyway, I will now go watch the video again so that I am 100% certain, maybe 98% certain of where each piece goes, and then at that point I will do my fit test to make sure that I don't have to do any adjusting of the measurements to fit inside of the fold lines and such like. If you had seen my Theresa Tries It episode 6, I believe, where I had to cut and refold, score everything, you'll see where this is important, because then I will go back to my notes here and write down, you know, oh hey, I had to make this a little bit smaller or fold it a little bit different, you know, things like that, so that I know when I go to make the real thing in a real video, then I won't be stopping and starting and correcting my mistakes on that video. So stick around and I will go through the actual assembly with you after I have watched the video. So see you in a minute. Okay, so I am back with all of my pieces completely wrapped because it was just ended up being easier that way. So, I mean, of course, I'm not going to put the whole thing together. That would be, you know, an assembly, like that would be the whole Theresa Tries It video. But I wanted you to see the process. So I have all the pieces cut out to the, you know, measurements that she provides in every video. And then I group the pieces as she has them grouped. But also, I clip together what's going to end up being glued together. I make notes about what specific instructions are, because, you know, some of them she has, she notches, rounds corners, you know, things like that. So I just make notes. Like these 3 are all going to be like sort of, or these 6, I guess, are going to be like waterfalls sort of effect at each end wherever they're going. And like this one, she is making this one an envelope flap looking closure. So I just, yeah, I wanted to show you how I make the notes. And then simple things like this, decorate before you glue these onto there, you know, that kind of thing. And those little sticky notes will stay in this prototype so that when I'm making the actual thing, you know, if you've watched any of my other Theresa Tries It videos, you know that I do, I make it on camera based on my prototype. So I just thought it might be interesting for y'all to see, you know, that it can be a little intimidating because of all the, well, in the case of these, and all the literal moving parts, because they are very interactive. But the parts, no matter how many of them there are, no matter how many instructions there are, and there are quite a few more on this, because there's this one to be cut into that, and then there's a couple of them where she glues them together to make pockets, and one of them she has, she uses the tab punch, and then you have to cut out. Anyway, it's just, there are a lot of pieces, there are a lot of instructions, but between the materials list that she provides and the very clear video, not that she, you know, she doesn't actually verbally give instructions on her videos, but there are notes on those where she's, you know, she'll say that this is where you do this interactive part. And then a lot of times on the materials list, she'll say, you know, that this is going to be a pocket. So, you know, you're sort of aware of what's coming. Even though a lot of times when I cut out the pieces, I've only watched the video one time to see if it's, you know, something I feel like I can do, which, as I'm learning, that even though, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts, based on her videos, watching her, and the little, you know, she gives the words, you know, cues, I guess, at the top of the screen while you're watching, that it's not hard at all. There's a lot of pieces, there's a lot of steps, it's a lot of paper, and it's a lot of glue, but they are so worth the effort. That I think they're beautiful. And my the first one I made of that was Monica Seacos's, it's the that's going to be given to someone as a gift this Christmas. So I think I'm going to do, I have one more prototype already put together. I'm going to put together this prototype, and if I can manage, I would like to make those 2 at least as, you know, more gifts. A photo album is always, in my opinion, is always an excellent gift. I I don't know about anybody else, but everybody I know would love to have pictures. And the one I've already made is going to go to one of my grandson's other grandmother, and I think I'm going to do that as well for another another grandson's grandmother. And I just think it's going to be very well received, very much appreciated, and like I said, photos, especially of your children and grandchildren, are always a wonderful, wonderful gift. So, that being said, the next time we meet regarding this particular lovely drab olive green concoction will be an actual Theresa Tries It. So I hope you'll come back for that, and also, check out some of my other videos. Give a thumbs up, subscribe if you're so inclined, and it's very much appreciated. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.